Most champions are born with a price tag and a pedigree that makes buyers stop and stare. John Henry was the opposite. He looked plain, he moved like a problem, and his legs gave people reasons to walk away. At auction, he sold for $1,100, the kind of money that buys hope, not history. No one called him a future star, and he did not fit the image of a champion. He was a gelding, meaning there would be no breeding fortune later. All he had was the racetrack, the turf, the grass course, and a stubborn will that made him difficult to handle and impossible to ignore once he learned how to win. Over the next years, this rejected horse would take on the best fields in the United States, conquer million-dollar stages, and earn the titles the sport can give. Before we begin, please subscribe to help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Now, watch until the end to see this horse's extraordinary journey unfold. People did not dismiss John Henry because they were cruel. They dismissed him because the business is built on fast judgments. John Henry was born March 9, 1975, in Kentucky, and nothing about his look screamed star. He was not the tall, elegant type that sells itself. He looked small with front legs that worried horsemen. His knees sat slightly back, a build that can place extra stress on tendons. To many buyers, that meant risk from the start. That risk showed up in the price. While many thoroughbreds sell for tens of thousands of dollars or more, John Henry went through the ring for $1,100. He was treated like a bargain, not a prospect. Then there was his temperament. He could be stubborn and hard to manage in the barn. As a gelding, he had no future value as a breeding stallion. If he mattered at all, it would be only for what he could do on the racetrack, on turf, or dirt. John Henry began as an afterthought, and his early career looked like it. After the auction, he moved through small barns where owners searched for quick results and trainers tried to keep a cheap horse sound. He ran often, learned the routine, and showed flashes, but nothing that screamed future legend. To most people, he was still a bargain, gelding with questionable legs and a difficult mind. The turning point came when a new set of eyes judged him differently. In 1978, Sam Rubin and Dorothy Rubin bought John Henry for $25,000 and placed him with trainer Ron McAnally. They shipped him west to California, where competition was tougher and rewards were bigger. McAnally did not ask the horse to be pretty. He asked him to be himself. He built fitness carefully, focused on racing on turf, the grass course, and started matching John Henry against deeper fields. For the first time, the horse was not being rushed. He was being prepared. That change, more than any price tag, is where the legend truly began. Ron McAnally had trained good horses, but John Henry required a different kind of patience. The gelding did not respond to force. If you tried to fight him, he fought back. McAnally focused on calm routines, steady conditioning, and races spaced far enough apart to protect those fragile front legs. He studied how John Henry traveled on the grass. The stride was smooth, and he saved energy until the final quarter mile. That became the plan. Let the early speed go, keep the horse relaxed, then ask for his run when others began to tire. In simple terms, McAnally built John Henry around pace, the rhythm of a race, and taught his riders to wait. He also accepted the horse as he was. John Henry could be sharp in the barn, but on race day he wanted to compete. McAnally matched him against stronger fields, not to prove a point, but to find the level where the horse would grow into a champion. He listened to his jockeys, adjusted equipment, and never chased a headline if the horse looked off. On California turf, John Henry finally looked like the horse Ron McAnally believed he could be. He was not winning because he was flashy. He was winning because he understood the race. Most turf races are decided by pace, the speed pattern from start to finish. Early leaders can steal a race if no one pressures them, but a true closer can punish them late. John Henry became that closer. He would settle, relax behind the field, then produce a late kick, a strong finishing run when the leaders began to shorten stride. In 1980, the results started to stack up fast. He moved from useful horse to top-level stakes winner, collecting major victories that changed how the sport talked about him. Crowds began to recognize the plain gelding with the relentless finish. Jockeys knew that if they let him see daylight in the stretch drive, the final straightaway, he could run past almost anything. Those wins were not accidents. McAnally spaced his races, protected the front legs, and kept John Henry sharp without draining him. The horse responded by showing the same weapon again and again: patience early, power late. Within one season, a bargain buy had become a serious championship threat on the grass course, and the old judgments about his looks stopped mattering. By the end of that year, he was voted champion turf male at the Eclipse Awards, proof that the bargain was elite. By 1981, John Henry had already built a reputation on turf, the grass course, but he still needed one race that the whole sport would remember. Arlington Park offered that stage. It defined him for fans. The Arlington Million was a new idea, a $1 million turf race that pulled elite horses, famous jockeys, and national attention into one starting gate. John Henry entered with the same question around him. Was he truly the best, or just a tough old gelding who kept showing up? When the race began, he did not rush. He settled behind the pace, the early speed that can decide a turf race. His rider kept him balanced, saving energy while others fought for position. Then the stretch drive came, the final straightaway to the wire. John Henry found running room and delivered his late kick. The leaders began to shorten stride, and the plain horse with the cheap past started eating up ground. Each stride looked smooth, controlled, and relentless. In the last yards, he surged past the field and hit the finish first. That victory changed how people spoke about him. It was no longer a story about an ugly horse and a $1,100 auction. It was a story about excellence under pressure, in front of the biggest crowd of his life. Arlington Million made John Henry more than a champion. It made him the horse that proved heart can outweigh appearances. After Arlington, the question shifted. Could John Henry do it anywhere but turf, the grass course? In the United States, the biggest championships are often run on dirt, the main track. Late in 1981, his team aimed him at the Jockey Club Gold Cup, a race that tested stamina, class, and courage against proven dirt stars. John Henry did not change who he was. He still waited, still conserved energy, still relied on that smooth stride and late kick. But on dirt, he had to handle a different surface, heavier, with more kickback, and a faster early pace. He handled it, moved at the right time, and finished with the same relentless drive that had made him dangerous on grass. That win completed the argument. He was not a specialist living off one type of race. He was the best older horse in training, period. When the Eclipse Awards were decided, John Henry was named Horse of the Year. For a gelding bought for $1,100, it was the sport admitting it had been wrong, and it set up the next chapter when age and pain would try to pull him down, and he refused. Fame brings more than applause. It brings arguments. In 1982, John Henry walked into one of the most emotional afternoons of his career in the Santa Anita Handicap, often called the Big Handicap. It was a race where reputation, weight, and pressure collide. On the track, the finish was chaotic. Another horse hit the wire first, and for a moment it looked like John Henry had come up short. Then the inquiry came. Officials reviewed what happened in the stretch, and the winner was disqualified for interference. The order changed, and John Henry was placed first. For some fans, it felt like justice because they believed the foul affected the outcome. For others, it felt like their sport was being decided in an office instead of on the track. The debate did not disappear the next day. It followed John Henry, and it tested his place as the people's champion. He did not respond with words. He responded the only way a racehorse can, by coming back, lining up again, and winning enough that even the loudest doubts began to fade. John Henry stayed great because his team treated greatness like something fragile. His front legs were always the concern, so Ron McAnally avoided racing him too often and kept space between starts. He trained to be fit, not exhausted. If the horse looked sore, they backed off. If the surface felt wrong, they changed plans. On race day, the strategy also protected him. John Henry did not waste energy early. He settled, followed the rhythm, and waited for the moment when others began to weaken. That timing mattered most on turf, the grass course, where a late run can decide everything. Jockeys learned that John Henry did not need panic. He needed patience. Give him clean room in the stretch drive, the final straightaway, and he would do the rest. That is why he could beat younger horses year after year. It was not luck. It was management, discipline, and a horse that never stopped competing when the real running began.